welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here with another episode of Why Seam Wednesdays. Yay! Why Seam Wednesdays? And today we're going to show you a very old pattern called Meadow Flowers. Now, Meadow Flowers is one of these patterns, like a lot of old patterns lend themselves to having lots of Y seams because they were hand sewn. But you can sew this one by sewing a machine. It's okay. I'll show you how to do it today. So you're going to find a PDF in the show notes below. It's so important to get into those show notes because you're going to get all the information I'm going to talk about here. Okay, so now, before we get started on this, let's talk about our shout out today. Our shout out today is Donald Mulders, and he's been on YouTube for a while, and he's having a lot of fun over in his channel. So go check him out, give him some encouragement, and tell him that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. It's a surprise shout out for him. He doesn't know what's coming, and his YouTube channel is going to be in those show notes as well. Now, as well as the PDF and Donald's YouTube channel, you're going to find things like the Community Round Robin. Now, that is listing out all the schedules as to when those videos dropped and who dropped them. So it's kind of important that you now subscribe to those other YouTubers, and we just had a blast putting those blocks together for you, and I see them in our Facebook group, which is also another link in those show notes. And it was just wonderful working with them. I hope to work with them again, but we'll have to see. Some of those guys are really busy. Also, we have a Facebook group, and it's growing rapidly. We're warm and welcoming. We're just having a great time in there. And it's always been so much fun. There's lots of different community chats to join and get into. And we do fabric swaps by country. We do recipe exchange. We do free, finding free patterns. If the members find a free pattern while they're out and about, they bring it back to the group, and they share it with everyone. Also, they have a virtual sewing room under Discord for the Facebook group, and we're there. Those people are just having a blast in there. They're getting to know other people from all over the country, and they're actually making friends with those people. So it's a good place to go meet and hang out because you got a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week virtual sew date to go attend to. Now, also, we have the Zoom sew dates from now until the end of December, and I'm making that commitment to you. I'm having so much fun with those sew dates, and the people that are coming, we all get lots done during the day, and it's a lot of like what you're working on and what's inspiring you. All of these topics are all covered, and we just have a lot of fun. We just have so much fun in there. It's just perfect. So if you get the opportunity to join, please do. And lastly, I speak for free. I speak for free for quilting guilds and quilting groups, and I have a PowerPoint presentation, so I have to do it over Zoom. And I talk for about 40-45 minutes about working with your scraps, right, and elements of design, and I show trunk shows of different quilts I've made and what's up and coming on our channel. So if you're interested in any of this, if your group is interested or your guild, and they want to address those issues of, those things that I talk about, please put my name forward. I'd be happy to speak to them. Now, I speak for free because I'm giving back to the quilting community. I have met so many talented quilters on those speaking engagements. It is just amazing. I get to stay for show and tell, and it's so much fun. Just absolutely so much fun. So, I think we're done. Yes, we are. Come on in. Let's get to the sewing. Okay, so here's the pattern, and basically the meadow flower block is this in here. I just added on the, where they cut two for 2.5 by 8.5 and then 2.5 by 12.5 cut to them. I've added that just so I would end up with a 12.5 inch unfinished block. So I thought, okay, this one then will fit nicely in. But this basically in the middle here, that's the metal block, right? Now you can see this would be scrappy and fun. Do print, there's your 1-inch test, and yeah, it comes together really quickly. Now, let's get started. Now, there's a lot of Y seams in here, but it's not impossible. So, now you're going to see there's one side that's longer than the other. Now the short side is where the stuff gets sewn onto. So I'm just going to take one of these and I'm just going to run it through, and I'm not paying attention to dots or anything else like that. I just want a nice 1/4 inch seam, right? That's all we're worried about, a 1/4 inch seam. And, oh, come on. There we go. Let's get a smaller plug. Okay, so now I'm going to finger press this 1/4 inch seam open. Right there. There's my cheat. Now I'm going to go directly across, and we're going to put this one together. Oh, let's see. I'm gonna make sure I've got the right thing going on here. Yeah. Yes, we sewed to the small. Now I'm going to kind of line this up in the middle, right? So I have equal little triangles that are sticking out on each side. Like if you can see that, there's little triangles sticking out on each side. So there, that's my lineup. So now I'm going to do a nice 1/4 inch seam right in there without an issue. There we go. Okay. Now, finger press that open, and now we're going to start sewing the other pink blossoms on, right? Now, the smaller side gets sewn onto the gold, right? Oops, there we go. Oops, that's wrong. Okay, the smaller side gets sewn onto the gold. So, you've got 2 Y seams here that are going to happen here. Let me just put this out like this. You get 2 Y seams. So what you're going to do is you're going to start from this side, because you want to be able to see this where you pivot, right? The seam here is where you're going to pivot, right? So you take your time, line up this, and you're going to sew on the pink first. Okay, the pink goes under first, and we're just, okay. Yeah, the pink goes under first, and we're just lining up everything, making sure. Now this is a bias. Both the top and the bottom are biased. So take your time, don't pull. Now you want to drop that right where that seam line is. Now, with your needle down, you're going to take this. I'm just going to get rid of this thing here. You're going to take this, and you're going to gently slide it under and pull this one forward so that you get a nice straight line. And you might have to do a little bit of wiggling, but that's okay. There. There we go. There. Now, that should work. Okay. So now I'm going to put this down, and this is going to go perfectly through. Okay, now I'm going to stop when I hit that line on my seam, because I've opened up my seam, so that shows me exactly where I have to pivot. Now I've got there, and I'm going to just show, there we go. Now I'm just going to get this, make sure it's, you know, it's best I can, right? There. Here we go. And there's our first set of Y seams, right? Because there are 2 Y seams, that's what you got to do. Now, we're just going to take a look at this here, and we're going to make sure everything's lying flat. So, you want to open up this right here and this right here. Now, don't pull, because both of these are bias, on a bias. They're cut on a bias. I found some cute Jan Kingwell stuff in my stash, and I decided, okay, I'm going to use this. So that's what our piece looks like now. So now we're going to put this one in, right? And we want to take the smaller piece, and we want it to start this way, just like so. And we're going to do the whole thing all over again, taking our time, lining it up, get it all lined up. Now I have tweezers here, really sharp nose tweezers, and a stiletto. Right? I mean, I could be using, but I'm okay for now. Now we're just gonna go through here, and yes, everything lines up. Everything's good. Don't pull, because you've got 2 biases, top and bottom are biased. Drop your stitch right in that line with the needle down. Again, maneuver this. You might want to give this just a little bit of a tug. In the center, don't be pulling on the outside, pull in the center, you know, because there, you don't, otherwise you'll distort your edge. And that will be bad. That will be so bad. Okay, so now we're going to go down to the center of that line. Here we go. And with our needle down, we're going to maneuver again. So, here we go. Now, we're just going to make sure that's all there. Yes, it is. And right to the end. Now, that wasn't so hard. We're just going to take a quick look to see what we got. Make sure we got no puckers. And this is what we have. This would be such a cute, if this was all scrappy, this would be so adorable. But anyways, we want to just press those end seams right there. And just press them open. I'm not going to worry about the center being pressed open because my next Y seam is going to be on this outer edge. So now we're going to put this all back for now. Okay. We're going to work on the corner. Now the corners are like this, right? So we have a choice. We can sew these two seams together and put the green in, and I'll show you how that works. So you take your two edge pieces, and your straight of green is here, this way, right? So you want to just put your bias edge under. Okay. And, oops, there we go. Now I'm going to take that, press it open with my fingers. Now this is all straight of grain here on the edge, right? So now I have a choice. I can either go this way, which I think I might. Okay, there. Oh, no, I can't see my seam. Okay, I haven't done these in a while either. So now you can take these and just fold them. So line them all up and fold them so you know where the middle is. That's another cheat. You're going to fold along this edge and you're just going to put a little pinch right there and you fold them this way. And you get a little pinch right there. And you get a little pinch on the other corner. And do that right away. You might as well do this one too. That is one way of showing where you have to place your piece. Is just putting a little pinch mark. Now you just have a wee little divot right there. Come on, focus. You can do this. You have wee little divots right here. And that's going to match up with this divot. Right? So what we're going to do, I'm going to put this down here. And we're going to match up those divots. Yes, we did. Perfectly. And I'm going to sew from here to where my seam is open. Like, so I basically want to hit that seam when it's the open with the needle down. So, ooh, I got it, missed it. There we go. So there we are, perfectly in that seam. Now, we're going to take this little green piece underneath and we're pivoting this around. Come on, you can do it. You know you can do it. Okay. And of course it's, why? I don't want to. Because it can, right? Suddenly it can. Okay, there we go. Let me get my tweezers. Sometimes this stuff gets kind of caught up in here. And it doesn't want to pivot. And that's okay. Because you just move it until it pivots. You just keep maneuvering it until it pivots. So that's, and it's alright sometimes if it doesn't. It just, you know, and if you have to pick it, you have to pick it. Right? So that's, it is what it is kind of a thing. There we go. And we've got it, and we're just going to go right through. Now I'm going to show you that. Okay. Oof. Now here is our edge. Now I'm going to take this and this, open it. Now it looks like I've got a really wonky seam in here, but I don't have a pucker So that's good. Now I have no holes, I have no pucker, I have nothing. So I'm in good shape for this. So I'm going to continue doing now the 4 corners. So now that's one way where we sew this together and then we sew this. I'm going to show you a different way. So you sew these 2 together. And you kind of center, just center the one. You kind of center it so that it's like, you know, a little bit sticking out on each side. You don't worry about it. I guess one way is the traditional way. Well, no, it's not my traditional way, because traditional way you'd be drawing dots and all the rest of the stuff, right? So I guess it's the non-traditional other way. It's one of those silly things that we can do. We can do it any way we want. Okay, here we're going to go like that. No, we should probably open up that seam. We need an open seam, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to, just like that, open that up and put it here. And again, open it up. There. Put it there and open it up. Now that open seam will give you that pivot point where you have to stop and pivot, right? So, and you notice I sewed all one side the same, right? So as we go around here, it will be, I'll just go like that. It'll be fine. It'll work. Now, when you're doing this, you have the option of going from the green to the beige or the beige to the green. I'm going to go this way from the beige. No, I'm going to go from the beige to beige first. We'll do beige to beige first. That'll give me my best pivot point. Okay, so here we go. And we go right to where that seam is. This is where the other foot would be really handy because it's really good to see. And now we take this and we move this around just like so. Wow, that was fast. That happened so quickly. It was so perfect. Okay, so there's one. Okay. Okay, let's line that up. Take your time lining them up. Okay, now I'll watch this one work. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're just opening the green. We could open this one too, I suppose, but it doesn't, it's not really, I mean, just to keep it flat, we could open all of the seams and be done. Okay, now let's get this one twisted around. Okay, you got to twist it around or pivot with your needle down. Pivoting with your needle down is so important with this. Because if you don't, not pivoting with your needle down, bad things happen. Okay, and the last one is here. Why is this not? Wait a minute. Is it this side? Yeah, it's this side. Okay, line up. There, line up. You always have your seam open, right? And then it tells you where you can pivot. And that way you don't have to sit there and draw little dots on everything. But, I mean, I know this is not the traditional way, but like I say, I have found this method really, really easy for me. So, it works. So, I just, okay, we're good. So there we are. We just about, now we just gotta pivot this and make this happen. There, oops, the foot is coming off, so let's get this tied up. Okay, so we get this, and there, wow, that one slipped right into place. That's great. Okay. So now, again, press them open. There. Here we go. Now when you're pressing open basically too is also a good way of, you know, speeding up your pressing when you get to the ironing board. Okay, so now we're going to attach these corners onto the blossom. And we're going to do them one at a time. Right? Now, oops. Okay. This has got to go. When you're sitting there, oh, I got to see this. Okay. So this has got to go like this. So we take our time and we line up that edge. Now that edge has those little cutouts. So all that little cutout will match the blossom part. So that's kind of a, you know, a quick way to do things. And the seam is on the wrong side. Okay. All right. Now this is kind of a combination. It doesn't matter which way you put this one down, because at some point you're going to have to guess as to where your seam is. Right? Because if you go the other way, you're missing another 2 seams. But if you go this way, you miss 1 seam. So it's kind of like which seam do you want to miss, right? So I'm going to sew them. You could also sew from the green out this way on both of them. It's a little more work, but I mean, you do have accuracy then, right? So let's try this with all of this out of the way. Okay. Yeah, it's funny how when you're doing these Y seams, all of a sudden something will move the right way and just all of a sudden it falls perfectly into place. And you got to be fast to sew it before it falls out of perfect. Now, there, now. So I'm sewing it basically, there's probably like 3 ways of doing this. So we'll sew it with the flower on top first. Then you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, there we go. And there we go. And now the last bit. And you gotta line up that line. Here we go. And get all of this out the right way. There. So that's way 1. It doesn't matter how you do this, actually, when you come to think of it. And now it doesn't matter which way you press this either. Whether you press it in like that, or you press these out or whatever, because you're finally done all of those Y seams in there. Now, we're going to show you with the blossom on the bottom, how it would go together. So now you're not going to miss these 2 points, right, because you have them on top. But you're going to have a problem pivoting here, right? So you have to be a little careful. Now you just line this up. Okay, you line it up. And this is why it's important not to stretch this, because right now you're sewing 2 biases together, and it would be bad if you stretch them out of shape, because now you have no idea what it's supposed to look like, right? So I got this down and pressed open. Yes I do. Okay, there we go. Come on, there we go. Just wiggle a little bit. There we go. And then we go to this side. And we sew up to there. This is a little fiddly, isn't it? Ugh, come on, stay open. Stay open. There we go. Yeah. Now, if I was doing this by hand sewing, I'd probably be halfway done already, except for the outer edge, right? So, I mean, this is why Y seams. If there's a lot of Y seams I have to do, like continuous Y seams like this, it's actually easier for me to sew them by hand than it is by machine. Now these are pretty tiny little Y seams too, right? So, and there we go. Now, the other way is of course, to start in the center. So one direction, start from the center, go the other direction, right? And that's what I want to show you too, okay? Because that's kind of important to know how to do, except it is more work, right? So, okay, let's get this position so we can start. Now you want to hit a point, and I'm just going to draw a pin, 1/4 inch, okay, 1/4 inch in both directions. No, I didn't measure it. I could probably do a 1/4 inch in a comma. But what you want to do is that 1/4 inch, that little X marks the spot, you need to start right where the seam is, right? Because that would be your pivot point on your block. Okay, so let's get this one under. And this is the way some people like doing Y seams, is especially when there's more than one. They go start from the middle, they go a couple forward, couple back, one more back. And then from there, they do the rest of the Y seam. Okay. This always makes me nervous, this one. Doing it this way. Okay, now. Okay. And then you pivot here, like so. And you got all of this nicely laid out. There we go. Now, yes, I did a couple back stitches, back and forth. Because now you start on this side, and you're maneuvering this so that this now is out of the way. Or you could do it from behind, right? You could do it from behind. And you're looking at the block now from this direction, right? There, you're sewing into the Y, which I don't like, but I mean, it's a method. It is a method of doing this. So I might as well show it to you. Okay. There, we line that up right so, like so. Now you pivot and get this out of the way. And you, oops, now let's get this out off. It makes it heavy and it's not working right. Now I have to always pull with a tweezer, right, just to move this, to get this flat. But I guess, there we go, yep, and there we are, okay. And you want to hit where that seam was. Now, if you miss where your aim, you're going to have a hole. If you're short, you're going to have a hole. And if you're over, this will have a stitch. So I have neither. So I mean, I guess I hit it on the right spot. Now I'm going to do, like I say, my preferred way is doing it this way. Doing it this way. And then, let's see, I'll do this and this just to mark my X. Yeah, haven't you done that where you've been sewing for so long? You could probably do a 1/4 inch and a comma and be like really close as to where you have to mark it. I'm at that point now. Okay, there. Now up. Get this out of the way. Pivot. Put this X right on top of the seam that you're aiming for. Oh, is this, yeah, flipped. Okay, let's get it unflipped. Okay. There. Now I got this coming up because the plow was there. So now we're going to do 90-degree turn. And we're going to get all this stuff out of the way. Get it in the right place. There we go. We're so close to the end. This is the last corner. And eventually you're going to hear you, yay! There, oh, there we go. And now we're going to pivot to get to the end. Right to the end. If you have a modern machine and then one of the stitch plates has just a little hole, I would recommend that's the stitch plate you use for Y seams. There's less chance of it getting hooked up in the works. So that's just a little bit of... Okay, so here we are. Okay, that one was not as nice, but it will iron flat. It will iron flat. It'll be fine. So let's get our 8.5 by 2.5 inch strips, and yes, we're right on the money for this. Okay, we take our time, line it up. There. There, and line this end up. Okay. There we go. Yeah, we get the one strip. Yeah, the frame is nice to put on these because then they're 12.5 inch. And when I do an orphan block quilt, I can just throw all of the 12-inch blocks together. You know, cool tones or warm tones, it don't matter. You know, like, wow. I have probably enough orphan blocks. I can do all the cool tones and then all the warm tones. So it's kind of fun to do. There, let me get that. There. Oops, there we go. There. Okay, and we don't know if we're shooting this part or not. We are now. Oh, we are now. Okay, so I got all of the seams on. So I'm going to just show you quickly what we did here. Now, okay, this looks like a mess because there's a lot of finger pressing going on and all this, right? Now, this is where we started and we did the Y seams. And then we did the corners and then we put them onto the blossom. Now everything else is just pressed towards the outside rails, or just pressed out away from the block. That's going to help reduce bulk. So I'm going to give this a good press, a good steam, and hit it with a clapper, and you'll see how cute this is when we're done. Okay, we'll see you at the ta-da moment. Okay, so here we are done with our beautiful little block. Now, I think this turned out really great. Yes, it's a little more complex than what we're trying to do, but we want to show you guys that it can be done. A lot of this stuff can be done with sewing machines. What women used to do is hand piece these. You know, just the center of the block, not the outside edge. And they would create some just amazing patterns, right? Like for their quilts. So, I mean, you could do this really scrappy and have a lot of fun with it. So I do hope you give this one a try, whether you choose to do a hand piecing or whether you decide to do it with a sewing machine. I hope you give this one a try. It was a lot of fun putting it together for you today, so do try and give it a shot and, try and work with it. Anyways, I hope you have an absolutely amazing week ahead and life is treating you very gently, okay? You take care until we see each other again, okay? Bye! Hello again. We just want to thank you for enjoying our video and, coming along with my husband and my YouTube adventure and quilting. And, sometimes things don't work out as best they should, and sometimes they work out great. We're going, wow, that went well. But it's been an amazing journey, and I'm so glad I could share it with you. Share, like, and subscribe these videos. That really helps us out, and it helps us make more charity quilts, okay? So you guys take care until we have a chance to meet again, okay? Bye!